Hey folks, time to do again some CSS battles. These are from the past. Daily targets from June 6th and June 7th, 2024. I wanted to do these because, well, they've got on either side of them, June 5th and then June 8th are really hard ones, ones that I never got 100% on, and I'm saving those to do when I'm more confident that I can do them, or when I'm ready to take the punishment of a 99.9% solution. These, though, also had this aspect that they've got the solutions from when I first did them still in there. They don't always save in that way when I just load them up. I mean, you can go load up my solutions at any point. CSSBattle.dev does a good job of that. But these, this one in particular surprised me. I've got 3 paragraph tags here. Not at all how I would do this now, but a legitimate way to do these. I've got scaling and absolute positioning happening, so that each one of these each one of the circles you see is a new paragraph tag overlaid on the last one, and each one is scaled at some interval which is an interesting solution, but it's not how I would do it now. And then this guy does have a repeating radial gradient to get the circles, but it also has a repeating linear gradient, which is also not something that I would typically do these days, because I think it's overkill for this particular purpose. All right, all that said, let's nuke this solution and this solution, and let's get right to it. So I think I'm looking at the nested template, and I don't think even just like the prior solution, I don't think this requires anything fancy. Radial gradient of a circle, and it's some small, it's this color, and we'll do like a 20Q or something, and then transparent. Or actually, I think we just do the blue, right? And then to create the repeat, we get two heights, and now you get a repeat there. Depending on how much repeating you do, you get more or less. If you divide the screen evenly, you get this. And these circles are a little too small. 4. That's a little too big. 30. That's probably in the close range, but then it's about the positioning of these, right? So to do that, because the circles are in the middle of their sizes, right? So that's in the middle of 200 by 150 and currently at 0, 0. If I do no repeat, you can see that, right? So that's one of the tiles. And so one way to move that circle around is to do at 10 pixels, 10 pixels, right? You do that at value, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then down 50, 50, 60, 70, right? And that makes it look like it's 31Q or 32Q. 32Q might be right. And then when we make that repeat, maybe we get it. If we change the width, we can maybe get that to line up, make it a little wider. 6, 260, and then a little taller. And that's all it takes, which is probably exactly what I had before. I do have a kind of a desire to do this so that I don't have the at. There's a little math to get that right. Now that I know that this is the size of those tiles, I think that I can remove the at and then change the background position and get a consistent result. And maybe I can use Q units, 40Q, 50, 60, 62, 63, 64Q, and then what, minus 10Q, 11Q, 65. The Q values are a little tricky there. The fact that they don't seem to be really in proper alignment is not appealing to me. It makes me want to use even numbers, and that's probably more reasonable. 60. So there you go. And that's maybe slightly shorter than the at blah and blah, right? Also a minus sign. Oh no, I'm wrong. Let's go back to say that a minus sign collapses and doesn't require a space before it, but it does. I forgot that. And then the next is a linear gradient. And I'm going to say, I'm going to do this color and then transparent. And a comma. Now what that is right now, well, it's that. I just want it to be, you know, like 10 pixels or whatever it is, and 0. So it's some narrow, very narrow thing. But if I move that down, so it's at 0, 5, 6, 7, 65. And that seems to be right. Then I have to give it a height, so I do some value here. How about 1% is the width? And so that's repeating over and over and over and over, but it's much shorter than 100%, which is also the same thing. So 1%, and then the height is, you know, 200 pixels, 210. So if I do 20 pixels, that's what it looks like. 200. No, it's probably 150. Yeah, 150, 160, and there you go. So I'm going to submit this and make sure we're at 100%, even with that this Q value. I might play with the values a little bit more. So let's do Q here, since we know that it works on that size, and then do 11Q. Is that still good? Let's find out. No, it's no good. How about 12Q? Or 9Q? Or is it just still 10Q, just like it's 10 pixels? Yeah, see, that's no good. 10 pixels is fine. Let's resubmit that and make sure that we're correct. I don't think there are any other, so I'm going to minify and unit replace, and that's almost certainly so I use both my plugins there that are available on GitHub to do the minification and the unit replacement, and that is a higher score than I've gotten. It's above 700, which is a nice score. Yeah, I don't get top. There are top solutions available if you're a Plus member like I am. I'm not going to show those to you. You know, go get a subscription. Like, you know, it'd be pretty cool. But undoubtedly there are far better solutions than what I've got here, which is, you know, I'm completely content with. Okay, next. So this one, you know, that's it. The way that I did it before with 3 paragraph tags seems like, you know, I almost don't even understand who that fellow was, but I can appreciate a radial gradient before I, you know, was thinking in terms of radial gradient. I think I do need the keyword search, and actually, okay, so I'm going to hit the nested template again, and I'm going to have the background, the bright yellow here. And then I'm going to use margins to narrow this in. Yeah, narrow this in. So ready, here we go. 25, 26, 27. And then 70, 75, 76, 77. And then what happens if I do a border radius of 50%? That's kind of interesting. So that's not a lot of code. And then if I do a background of a radial gradient, I don't, because the size of this is a perfect square, I don't need the keyword circle, and I think I just need 2 colors. Yeah. So I'm going to do the dark color, and then the middle color. Now I guess I could do a border as well. Let's do it with 2 colors. Yeah, let's do it with 2 colors. And do 50% 0, which is no good. And then a border, well, it's fine. Border, 30 pixels solid. And then it's this almost the lightest. Is that right? No, it's this one. And that's 40, 45. So let's submit that. Is that 100%? I don't know. I can't quite see. %99.8%. I think what that means is that this needs to be 46 pixels. That might be it. I'd like it to be it, but I'm not sure that it is. Yeah, it's not right. Okay, what else can we do here? Let's try 50 pixels, 55 pixels, and see if that's a 100% match. Or if indeed, like, is okay, so that's 100% match. I'm gonna minify and unit replace and see if that's a better score than what I've gotten in the past, because I'm kind of curious to know that. And then, so it's not. I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna remove the border, and then have another color stop, 60 pixels, comma, and then the third color. 0, 60, 70, 80, 85, and let's submit that. And that's not particularly better. Let's remove the border radius and then have another color stop, 100 pixels, 110, 115, and submit that. Not better. Not really better. How about a unit replacement? Yeah, there's no units to replace here. So, kind of fascinated. So if I go my solutions, what's my top solution? My top solution is this one. Which is just on the body. Color, color, color. Yeah, so that it doesn't bother with having 2 elements, which is better, right? And then I think we said the unit replace doesn't do anything. So so it doesn't bother doing the nested template. You don't gain anything. In fact, you lose quite a bit by making the alterations on the HTML element to make it a square and then using the gradient. You just do the gradient, and that's the simplest for that. So I like that one a lot. And this is a slightly better score, but granted, this is code that I wrote, whenever I wrote it back in the past. So yeah, that's a fun one. Fun to think about all the different ways, right? So borders and different insets and borders, different sizes, border sizes, positions, elements that potentially could have shadows, elements that are inherit styles from the prior and that only have a small alteration. So many choices. Anyway, thanks for watching these 2. Look for more of these videos if you'd like, but don't feel obligated to like or subscribe. I happen to know that these videos are not to everyone's taste, and that's just great. But make stuff on the web. Go make a web page and share it with your friends. Like, it's really fun to make web pages that are yours, that are completely yours, that you made, that are not owned by some company. They're all yours. You put them on GitHub, you can save them and put them up anywhere you want. You can save the code to a zip file for yourself and put it on a USB drive. Obviously, you'd like to save things in a format where you're assured not to lose them. So be mindful of that. But, go make a web page and have a great day. Okay, bye-bye.